For some top-end car buyers, it's not simply enough to have a $200,000 sedan in the driveway anymore. That's why luxury car makers such as Audi, Mercedes-Benz and BMW build stylish four-door coupes to help a small handful stand out from the crowd. This is the latest example. It's BMW's 650i Gran Coupe. The 6 Series received the lightest of updates early this year, with subtle design alterations and minor tweaks to engine efficiency and performance. The 650i Gran Coupe tested here sits at the pointy end of the range, one peg below the flagship M6. It costs $238,900 plus on-road costs and comes fitted with a thundering 4.4 litre twin turbocharged V8. Now, the natural tendency for most BMW enthusiasts would be to fawn over those engine outputs, and they are definitely impressive in their own right. But BMW says the typical 6 Series buyer is equally interested with what's in the interior, and that's where this car really sets itself apart. And check it out. It is seriously opulent stuff, even compared with most run-of-the-mill BMWs. I say that because the brand actually responded to criticism of previous interiors by really lashing out with this one. Take a look around and it feels top-notch. There's some really nice premium materials and some high-quality fitments as well, such as the digital instrument cluster, the head-up display and the Harman Kardon surround sound system. It's the sum of all these parts that really come together and make this car feel special. The only real downside of the cabin is the rear seat, which is classed as a 2+1 layout. Essentially, it will comfortably fit 2 adult passengers either side, but a middle passenger would be a squeeze. The flip side of that is that there's a boot big enough to satisfy Tony Soprano. It's actually quite long and wide in dimension, rated at 460 litres, and there's also split fold seats. Also new for 2015 are adaptive LED headlights and a modern suite of safety technologies, including active cruise control, lane departure warning and a surround view camera. Everything about the 650i screams luxury. The price, the engine and even that cosseting interior. So it's no great surprise then that it really pampers its occupants out on the road. This car actually rides on massive 20-inch wheels with run-flat tyres, but even so, it's like a magic carpet ride down the road. It's a really serene and cosseting experience, and it really does a great job of isolating occupants from bumps in the road. It's quite an efficient unit in everyday driving as well. We've comfortably used less than 10 litres per 100 k's of fuel in a mix of conditions by simply being a little bit gentle on the accelerator. The same goes for road noise. It's really well suppressed from the cabin, and it just really adds to the luxury experience of this car. In a similar regard, the steering is really silky smooth, but also accurate and direct. However, there is a strong Jekyll and Hyde tendency to the 650i, and it's all provoked by the press of a button. See, the 650i scores BMW's familiar efficient dynamics program, and that basically brings 5 different driving modes, from the most efficient Eco Pro mode to the most feral Sport Plus. Now if we wick it up to Sport, straight away it spices up that teaming between the engine and the transmission. The steering as well is stiffer, and it really brings a more sportier drive. And I've got to say, for a huge car at over 5 metres long, this thing is quite engaging on a twisty bit of road. You can tell there's a bit of extra weight there simply because there is some lean through corners, but everything works. It's a really fun car to drive fast, and it's quite sure-footed at speed as well as going really fast in a straight line. The BMW also pulls up quite efficiently as well. The 4.4 litre V8 engine is teamed with a smooth shifting 8-speed transmission that sends drive to the rear wheels. Now while that gearbox is really good in daily conveyance with smooth shifts and an adequate spread of 8 different ratios, it's not quite as hard-edged as the 7-speed dual clutch automatic that's found in the flagship M6, but even so, it does a really good job in sporty driving, and it's quite a versatile unit. Now for some enthusiasts, that V8 engine note probably isn't as prominent as what it could be, but in keeping with the rest of this car, I think it's at a suitable level. You can hear it from the outside, you hear the odd belch when you come off the accelerator, but inside it's a really nice, serene driving experience. Sharing a down-tuned version of the V8 engine found in the M5 and M6 sports sedans, the 650i clips the 0 to 100 km ticket in just 4.6 seconds, travelling onwards to a top speed of 250 km an hour. For me, I think it's the V8 engine that really brings some heart and soul to this package. A lot of people probably don't think twice about big luxury sedans simply because they are fit for purpose. But having the V8 there really adds some emotion to this car, and the fact that you have all that performance on tap really adds to the package. And at nearly $240,000, it asks a lot for the privilege. But you know what? It does live up to expectation, and it definitely stands out from the crowd.